All right. So I'm going to be critiquing this design. I'm going to be critiquing this guy, right? And first things first, so just duplicate it so we can work on this other section, right? This the other one, right? So first off, because I'm going to be critiquing this design based on three things is I need to get this out. Alright, so we're critiquing this design based on three things. One is brand identity, right? The other is um, email marketing best practices, and then graphic design principles, right? So I'm going to be critiquing this design based on these three concepts, all right? And that's because for every email to um, kind of be an A level design, it needs to um, match match the brand identity of the brand, right? It also needs to follow email marketing best practices because that's what brings in the conversion. And then graphic design principles makes the design look good, right? So let's quickly just say something like brand identity to um, keep the email on brand, right? Email marketing best practices to help with conversions, and then graphic design principle to increase the aesthetic feel. So I think we can go with this, right? Um, so real quick, let's just do something. Let's do 40. And so I'm just doing this so that it's easier for you to understand. Okay, marketing best practices. 52. Alright. So the reason I'm adding this here is so that while I am doing the critique, you understand why I am doing what I am doing. Right. So we're gonna make this light one and then value 48, 40. Right. Alright. So I think this This makes more sense, right? So just gonna keep it above here, this place, right? So and to work on the brand identity, we need to check the website, right? And this is the website, so you can see it's a they sell furniture, right? And you can see this, right? All right. So for context, this is a mock-up email made by um, one of my students, right? This is a mock-up email made by them. So the reason I'm saying this is because just so you know, the copy are just they are just there. It's not like it's perfect, but its copies are just being used as a reference to ensure. So instead of using dummy text, we can go with an actual copy, right? So this one says classic design ultimate support. So right off the bat, so one thing you notice in this place is that the image is actually blurry, right? The image is blurry. So that is one thing I noticed right off, right? So yes, also um, the chair, which is the furniture, is actually the couch is actually visible, but the only issue here is the image, the reference, right? So if we look at this, we'd notice that for some of the chairs, for some of their imagery, you'd see a picture of somebody there. Like you can see this, you can see this, right? Why for some of them you won't see, right? Um, so you can also see this, you can also see this, you can also see this, right? So what I would suggest is this. If you can't find a lifestyle picture that's very very clear, so lifestyle image is basically, so I think I need to write all these things down so it makes sense, kind of like a take from the whole stuff, right? So let's just say lifestyle imagery, imagery. This this is a type of imagery, right? Where an actual where the audience is making use of the product, right? Um, that's what the lifestyle imagery is. Then we have product imagery. This is type of imagery where the product is being displayed, right? So these are the two things we need to pay attention in terms of imagery, right? So something else we can also pay attention to, right, while doing this is that um, if the let's do it this way, your best bet would be an image that is clear, right? So for this we can just do about 32 and center, right? Probably because okay, the best bet would be an image that is clear. So this is what we are going for. So because this image isn't very clear, all right, so you need to change that. You need to change that. So let me see. So this is a mock-up email. So we are just doing random, like random imagery, right? So when if you go to a site and you want to get images from the site without having to probably click on the links over there, right? So there is an extension called Image Downloader, right? So just go on Google and search Image Downloader Chrome extension, and then just add it into your extension, and you get this particular stuff. And when you have it, when you click on this, if you scroll up, you'd see image of some. So you are not going to see all the products or all the image on the site on here, but you are going to see enough for you to work with, right? So I think we can go with this, right? And when we paste this here, so just for reference, we can actually work on this particular image. So let's say this is an email promoting this exact couch, right? We can actually fix this stuff by making this more clear. And how you do that is you go on Google and then you say blur image, right? On blur image, and then when you click on blur image, you follow the process. It's very seamless, very simple. Follow the process, and then you are able to make this clear, right? You are able to make this clear. That's if you it's a compulsory stuff that like you are using this particular image, right? But because this is a mock-up, right? So we can use this. Remember, this is just an alternative. You can definitely fix this. But if you unblock this and it still looks, because sometimes when you unblock an image, it's it kind of messes up the whole lightning and all of those stuff, whereby some part of the face is more lighter than the other, then the image just get messed up, right? So if it's that case, then you would have to change the image. Like you would have to change it because um so another rule of thumb here is that um, um uh, the clarity of your imagery can also help to increase your slash d brand perceived value slash standard, right? So this is also something you want to look at, right? Yep. So we're gonna make this smaller because it's much, and then probably increase to this clarity. So we're gonna change this imagery, right? But I really do like this guy. I really like this guy. I really like this guy. So like I was saying, two things you can do here is either use this image or work on this image, right? So the thing is this is a critique video and not a video on how to design mockups, right? So I'm basically not going to be reworking these guys. I mean, I could rework it, but I'll hurriedly do it. If you want to see how to design mockups from start to finish, then you can check my other videos and you are going to see that, right? So for this particular case here, you just need to change the image or make this unblur, right? Or unblur this image, right? And then this your home isn't one size fits all. So what you notice here is each the first letter of each words are all capitalized, and that's because um it's kind of in the settings. So when you look at this, so when you click on the text, then come down to this place, under typography, come down to this place. When you click on this place, you can see for case you can see this. So this is default as typed. This keeps makes all of them to they all become capital letter, uppercase, right? This makes all of them to be small. This makes just the first letter, which was how it was set, right? So you also want to pay attention to that because obviously this is a body text explaining certain things. So it makes sense to keep it like this, right? As default, like this, right? Um, so one thing I like to do, just so because it's just to help with creating contrast and hierarchy, right? So what we are going to do now is this. Okay, so I like that. This was better. I want to reduce the opacity of this guy to 75, and the reason is this. For two reasons. It's actually more gentle to the eyes to read like this than when it's full white, and then for another reason, so that we can actually highlight this guy over here and just increase the lightning and then probably change it to italic, right? So it reads like your home isn't one size fits all, your furniture shouldn't be either, right? King living sofas feature modular designs that adapt to your space. Customers love flexibility. We designed our sofa layouts twice after moving. Alright. Okay, so I think this makes sense to be here. And then probably do this like this. And then this discover our latest collection. So let's ungroup this because I don't know why, but it's meant to just be one word, honestly, one line, I guess. So let's just cut this line like this. Okay, so let's do 50, right? Center alignment, and then increase the fill here to like 50. Alright, so let me see. So this is like 60. So just figured out I should fix this guy. Alright. Remember, we are still on brand identity, right? So I think we should fix this image so it just makes sense for you guys to understand better. So I'm going to copy and replace this guy over here like this. Alright, so we're going to replace this guy over here. Now, one thing we can do here is to change the color of the text so that it's more visible, right? So change this to white, also change this to white, then change this to white, and then black, right? So something else we can do here is this. So we can actually bring this guy down here, or we can leave it here, right? But what we are going to do is we're going to put a bit of blur in the background just so that the text is more visible. So you can just do anything actually, just so effect layer blur, click on this part, then just increase the layer blur. So the if you increase it, it tends to, you can see, so it tends to make the edges more blurry. All right, so if you do 75, it stays like this. Now if you bring this guy to the front, you can see that it's easier to read this. Now compare this to this, you can see the difference here, right? So this is what we do if we want to kind of help increase the legibility of the text. And also for this guy, you can also do that, right? Now compare this to this, right? It's easier to work on it, right? And then I think we are good to go like this, right? Probably just adjust this guy like this, and then just shorten this guy, right? All right, so this is good. Now if you look at the website, you notice that majority of the website is actually just the imagery, like a collage of the product, right? Now, when we click on this, because I want to look for the colors we are supposed to use, because this background now is a black background, but from the website you can see that you hardly see a white background, right? So that tells us that we supposed to use a white background. If we are to maintain the branding, it has to be a white background, right? So for that, what we're gonna do is so we're gonna first of change off this color so it doesn't mess up or get hidden when we change to a white background. So this is good, but we change to black. Change this guy. So this is black and white. That way it's going to make sense when we change the background color. All right. Remember, if you have any question, please do leave it in the comment section. So the way you change the background of the entire frame is this: you click on this section, just the top here, you click on it, and then you this is the field, and then you just change it to white. Right? You change it to white. Something else I forgot to change. I think this king should be a white color too, and you can do this by okay. This is already maxed. This is already maxed. But if you are not aware how to max, if you don't know how to max, so how you max is this: you get the image, right, or the icon, whatever you want to max, right. You paste it, right. So this is the actual image, but for situations like this where we probably need to change the color to something else, right? So what we can do here is we can use a rectangle and then just cover it this way. Now the rectangle should be the desired color or your color of preference. So it could be red, could be any color of your choice, right? And so we are going for white. Now remember we have this image beneath it, right? It has to be under, if not, it's not going to work, right? Now highlight both of them. You can see both of them are being highlighted. This is them, one, two, both of them, right? Then you click and then right click. You actually right click. So if you are on Windows, just right click. If you're on Mac, you already know how to bring out that feature. You double tap, you click but with your two fingers, right? You click but with your two fingers, and then you use a mask. You can see that now. If you click out and then click back in, look at the right settings, come here, and then you can change the color to whichever color you want, right? You can change it, right? For this case we want white, right? We want white, and then we need to reduce the sizing to 93, to 93, 90, and then we just copy there, right click, and then copy to replace, paste to replace rather. So what it does is it removes that one and then replace it. But randomly, if you just put paste here, see what happens, right? But if you do paste to replace, it replaces that particular one, right? And then this. So you can see that it's mostly just white and this color. I'm not sure what this color is, but we can just quickly screenshot and then know the color. So this is so we can bring out a rectangle here and then try to trace the color. So this is the color we can also use for the body section, right? So we can use this probably when we are highlighting something, right? So this is discover our latest. Uh, just a sec. I also need to check the. I also need to check the typography being used, right? So let's quickly check that. Just hold on a sec. It's going to load, right? It's going to load. Um, okay, so this is active grow text. Active grow text. Oh, okay. Scroll down. This is active grow text. Now this is something else. This is another mistake, or probably where we can improve on. So this is Montserrat. Whereas in the website we have active grow text. So what we can do is we can just check on Figma files and check if we have. So I'm just going to bring out this guy, right? So that we can look for the particular typeface being used. Right. So if you say let me I've forgotten say active, right? So as you can see, that particular font on is not in Figma. So what we can do is so we can say um, download active go desk font free, right? And so whenever you are downloading a font, or whenever you want to download a font, one of your most trusted sites is this particular guy over here, this guy. So this is what I go for. So whenever I come here, I just scroll down and check if I'll see this one. Then if I don't see it, I'll probably just choose the first link, but I'll always choose this. And then also this is also a good font finder, right? So let's check this, because this is kind of a trial font. So see, whenever you see trial font, these are like alternate, like it's the exact font, but probably the main font is paid, so they kind of just create something else that's very similar, very similar, right? So in this case, if you are actually working with a client, you can just ask them for the font, because most clients will have the font. If it's a paid font, they will have it because they actually bought it, right, or paid for it. So you just ask them for the font. If not, you can just come and download it and just install it. So this is it. So we need I obviously can't download all these fonts because it's much. So I'll just download a few. So this is the bold. I think we need this one, and then the which is this one. So this is the bold italic. We also need this one, and then this is black. Nah, I don't need this one. Black italic. I also don't need this one. Okay, what's this? I don't know. I need this guy. So so this is italic. Probably gonna need this, even if it's not the exact font. So we need regular also. Probably light too. So yeah, this is all the italic. Okay, so let me see. This should be regular. I'm not sure. Yeah, that's regular. This is regular. So install. Right. So from the site, we just have thin, regular, hair, medium, and bold. So let me check. Okay, so just to check where did I get that from? So we have thin, we downloaded regular, we have so it should be here, and then bold. Alright, I think we are good to go. Alright, so we can remove this one over here. So now we can come, you can see new font available, right? So active grid extra, right? So now we're going to change the head or copy all the typeface to active. So this is going to be bold, right? This is going to be bold, and then this is going to be regular, right? And then this is also going to be okay. I didn't come with the regular. Let's just stick with the bold. And then for the body also, stick it active, right? And then for this also, stick it active. We fix this guy, tighten this a bit, right? Tighten this, right? And then we can just change the whole stuff to active, right? So just for recap, right? Just for a recap, when we are changing it, I need to change this guy. I don't like how it's they are being grouped together or something. 55. Alright, so this is supposed to be like this. Wait, so let me check. Let me quickly just center this whole stuff. Center, then center. Right. Then we can go back again. Right. Alright, so we're going to stick with white. So now pay attention in terms of the brand identity. What did we change? One, we changed the imagery to ensure it's not blurry. Right. Two, we changed the typeface being used. Right. Three, we change the colors being used. Right. So if you're designing, you need to pay attention to these things. These are specifically for branding, to maintain the branding, right? You would hardly see this black on the website. So because of that, we do not want to use black. We want to stick with the website color, right? We want to stick with that, right? And then sometimes you can just go with a straight cut transition, like just this. Let's go with a straight cut transition, right? I think we need to. This guy is just so outside. Yeah, I think it's good. And then instead of the grain, because if you look at this place, you'd I think I'm not seeing any green. And so remember, this is the second site we clicked on. Now let's say we clicked on sofas, right? Let's say we clicked on sofas now. You'd also notice that you won't see any green, right? You won't see any green, which tells you that this particular color being used, this particular color now, is kind of out of the branding, right? Kind of out of the branding. So let's just add something. Brand identity, like to keep it on brand. Color used. Let me sec. I need to do something. So this is right. Color typography, imagery, color typography, imagery, etc. Right. All right. So remember when we went to the site to check for the this color, right? So we're going to use this color in a replacement for this green, right? So we'll just bring this guy down, right? We'll bring this guy down, then click on this. We'll change this to this color, and then change this to black, right? We change this to black. Now this is actually good, but one thing we can do here is just make this less clustered. And so when we click on this guy, just I want to see how most of the products are being the font of the product. So when we look at this, just a sec, then this is much. So these are all lights, But in my opinion, it's not a best practice. So we need so this should have been bold, right? So something like this, right? So it should have been bold like this. So because you can't do light and then it doesn't really tell the difference between this and this, right? So something else you can actually do is just make this a capital letter, right? Then increase it to a bold. It makes more sense that way, right? So machine washable. So we can just change this like to an italic, right? And then tighten up the space. So this is called letter spacing, to tighten up the space in between. Sorry, not letter spacing, line height. The space in between these two guys, this thing is called the line height, right? And you can fix that by click on the text. This is it here. If you do 20, watch. If you press enter, it tightens up, right? But that's too tight, so we can stick with 26, probably 25. Right, so just go like this. I think I'll prefer to do this, right? I'll prefer to do this one, and then let me ungroup this guy so that we can fix it, right? So just do like this. Probably bring to this guy. So for headers, most times you don't really need to put a period, right? So just click to like this, and I'll probably make. Let me see. This is 20 regular, so just like this. Available in choice of. So we also need to fix this guy and ensure it's the first letter of the words are not capitalized, right? So available in choice of premium fabrics, tailored covers can be removed for washing. Alright, so this is good. This is good, and this is good. Right. So then this guy, I'm not sure why, but please, you guys should always fix the line height. So I use the 20, put here, and then you can just make sure it's in the middle. Then just highlight both of them. Alright. So how you can highlight both? So you remember when I said when I was talking about masking, I told you to highlight both of them, which is just you take your cursor, you left click on Windows and Mac, you just press down and then you drag to highlight, right? But if you wanted to highlight like an individual element, such that let's say if you wanted to highlight this and this, when you hold and drag, it highlights both this rectangle. So if you want to highlight this and this without having to worry about this, you can do it by when you click on this, then move your cursor on top whatever you want to highlight next, then press your shift and then tap. See what I did? Press your shift like this. So let's do this. Hold your cursor. Your cursor should be on top the next stuff you want to highlight. Then hold on your shift on your keyboard, right? I think it's the same for Windows and Mac, right? So then you click that way you can highlight both of them. Alright, so we can just move this to the middle a bit. And then this guy, oops. So you click on this, and then we go. I think we have two stars over here. Alright, so we can just do this like this. Right now, this is more structured. Right, this is more structured. So I'll obviously not start working on all this too, because this is a critic video and not a video on how to design from start to finish, right? But I believe you understand what I did here. Like it's very explanatory. Right, one, change the green to a branded color, which in this case is this, right? Secondly, kind of make this capitalized all through so that it creates more of a difference as a headline, right? Then thirdly, make the body copy, like remove the settings that makes it that makes each letter, the first letter of every word, capitalized, right? And just arrange and make it clean. You can also highlight the USP, like washable covers. So one thing people like about fabrics is to ensure it's something I can easily wash, right? So that's why I highlighted the washable, right? And then probably just generally make it clean, right? Generally make it clean, and I think that's applies for here and also applies for this place, right? And then for this guy, um, your King Morton experience the future of sleep. So I don't. I think this write up here is irrelevant because you don't expect them to zoom in to read this, right? So I'll probably just a just go for an image without a text, right? So remove this king dining blah 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 king blah, blah, just put just an image. If there should be a write up, it should be on top, kind of introducing these three guys, right? You could just use the experience the future of sleep, and then you have all this stuff over here, right? Now, for the record, this is actually a good transition. Putting the image overlaying on the rectangle, this is actually a good transition. You can actually, let's say you wanted to continue this email. Just a sec, let me. So let's say you wanted to continue this email, right? You could actually um, just a sec, let me copy this guy. You actually just do this and then continue the email from this place again, right? Continue the content of the email. So this is actually a good transition, right? Putting an image on top a rectangle, but preceding the rectangle should be a different color. Then after the rectangle should be a different color, right? So that is something else you can also do. And then I think we can make this smaller. All right. So I just noticed that this was actually introducing all these guys. Please, I need you to pay attention to contrast. Like you, this has to be white. You can't use a black colored CTA on a gray colored background. This has to be white for you to stand out and to actually, because I actually didn't notice it until just after almost finishing this, and I'm noticing it, and it's not supposed to be like that, right? Because if it was the audience, they probably would have gone to another email or probably went to do something else. So we want to ensure that whatever we are doing, we are sticking now. So this particular, what I changed now was actually graphic design principle, right? This is actually a graphic design principle, which is what we call contrast, right? So contrast is basically creating a clear difference between something, right? So we use contrast to create hierarchy, right? And you can't use a dark background, a dark colored city on a dark background because it's going to have a poor contrast. Poor contrast is this, there won't be any difference and you won't notice it. Like I literally didn't notice this CTA button. You get so, and that's how it is for almost like majority of your readers. They won't notice it if you get, so please pay attention to that. And then like I said, fix this. This is not this text that so one thing is do not use any random image. Actually take your time to use the right image, right? Do not use random image. Take your time to use the right image. This image now, what's wrong about this image? This text is too tiny, so it's better not to be there, right? This also, it doesn't really entail anything, right? Now, what you would have done here is, let's say you wanted to identify each of the elements, you would have just done something like this, right? So if you click on this text now, then click on this one, right? So when something is grouped and you want to highlight just that specific one, hold your hold your command key. I think on Windows that's the Alt key or so. When you click on it, you can then change it. But I want to close out the fill and then open up the stroke, then make it white, right? Then also change the text to white, right? Now, what we can do here now, we can scale down this particular CTA button because obviously it's big, right? It's too big. So what we can do is if you just click on that stuff, then just press your key, K, K for kettle, press it. Then if you notice here, you would see this scale something. So you can scale it down from here, but you are better off just scaling it down directly and just putting this here. But now you notice that the CTA button is very big. So for this case, we need to just stick with two of this and then also scale these guys up to something like this, right? Now, when we scale them up, we can now click on this, still on the scale settings and still drag it, right? So now let's remove this guy, right? We can, let me center this. Now we can push over here and say shop the collection. But something else we can also do here, because we should always pay attention to legibility and how legible it is. So we can just change this to a brown, right? Increase the blur and then bring this guy to the front so that it's more visible, right? Now compare this to this. Now we still need to increase this guy, right? Probably 35 or so. Right? We still need to increase so that it's more visible. So now this way you can tell, and it's easily, you can easily tell that okay, this is a shop now button, right? And you do the same for this guy over here too, right? You do the same for him. Now you can see the difference now it makes, right? So yeah, you need to always pay attention to that. So for this particular email, I think we are good to go in terms of correction. So number one, brand identity. Pay attention to the typography being used. Pay attention to the color of the colors being used. Um, so and then pay attention to the imagery, right? Then for email marketing best practices, ensure that ensure that the product being promoted ties in with the copy, right? I think yes, that's one. Secondly, ensure you have a CTA button above the fold, right? Then go with two columns. Do not. So what I did here, the change I made here, which is from this to this, was actually an email marketing best practices, because when you are designing your emails, you are designing them based on. So you are designing for mobile and you are designing for laptop, right? Because some people will open the email on their phone, some will open the email on the laptop. Get so, and for people who open the email on the phone, this guy is going to be very tiny, right? But this guy will be tiny and less visible, while this guy will be more visible, right? So this particular change here was actually an email marketing best practice change, right? And then we have the graphic design principle, which is the rectangle I added here to ensure the text is readable. The spacing here, which is already good. Um, what else? Changing this typeface here to italic so that it's you can tell that this is actually a review or a testimonial, right? Highlighting this particular word, spacing, right, and then just making them align properly. Those are all graphic design principles. And also something here, putting the rectangle at the back so that you can see the city properly. So these are all graphic design principles. So whenever you're designing your emails, you need to pay attention to brand identity, email marketing best practices, and then graphic design principles, because three of them work hand in hand to create a better email, right? So like I said, if you have any question, you can drop it down in the comment section and I will do well to attend to you, right? And then you can also go on to other of my videos. So specifically, my videos are basically for people who kind of have no idea on what email design is all about. You can just go through my videos and trust me, you are going to start understanding the concept, and with time you would start designing good enough emails, right? So yeah, hope you enjoyed the critique, and please you can watch the video again if you don't understand anything, or to ensure it's clear, and then you can just jot down any of these that you feel like okay, it's gonna be useful to you, right? So yeah, thank you for watching and see you on my next video.